Hola, hello. My name is FerdelaCruz. I'm from Yucatan, Mexico, but I'm greeting you from the University of California at Irvine. And I'm going to read one poem for Indran Amirtanayagan's poetry channel. Ocean is not to be trusted. It's a selection, a new and selected poems, 20 years of poetry from 2003 to 2023. Most of the poems are, of course, in Espanol, but some of them are in English. The one I'm going to read is called The Things We Learn. And as it happens, earlier, a few months ago in last fall, 48,000 students were striking, were on strike. We went on strike, 48,000 graduate students across the University of California, all 10 campuses. And we were striking for better working conditions as academic workers. As now, Hollywood staff, actors, writers are striking. It's too bad they didn't strike last fall and they came here to join us. So as a student, as an international student especially, I feel a little conflicted. So that's what this poem is about. The things we learn. The mirror in my closet stares at me. This is the place you find yourself in. I can picture him saying as I look the other way. You came here to read, research, study, but not for this, as he would argue, not to strike. He stands there, bidimensional, subpompous, covering all the wall with his illusions. There's so much to strike for. As I dig into my reading, mining companies in the Amazon basin in Brazil devour entire mountains with explosives and machinery. As I pass the page, they pour mercury on the rivers. As I start to write my essay, other companies spill oil in the ocean. As I structure a paragraph, their trucks burn diesel, generating clouds of smoke, heavy on lead. As I retouch my draft, a floating island of discarded plastic becomes a growing continent of wastes. And as I file away an annotated bibliography, all sorts of corporations swell in profit, unfamiliar with my academic progress, oblivious of inflation and of the salary of an academic worker. This is indeed the place I find myself in. The mirror pane on my closet, extending from floor to ceiling in this campus apartment, keeps staring at me when I'm not looking, likely thinking that I came here to do all that, but not to strike. You will hear me banging pots and pans still, and an extra loud cowbell, louder than I can read or sing or chant, perhaps even louder than I can think. So now that I am here, what's the name of this place anyway? I mean, its real name, a name primordial, sacred, in a language more appropriate than any brought by force? As my mirror seems to make everything bigger, probably thinking that a poem is not the proper platform for these sorts of concerns, or that this top university is not a place to strike. The nation's current president debates on whether he truly supports unionized labor. The former one calls for, well, the termination of the Constitution, while literary classics are banned in Florida. And here in California, as we call it, this university runs like a corporation. The mirror still thinking about what I'm here for. His surreptitious glances were never quite this eloquent. A strike won't get you anywhere. You should be in your classroom. You could be arrested, your F1 visa taken. I still wonder what the real names are of the snowed peaks that stand in the horizon. Sierra Peak, Pleasant Peak, Barefoot Peak, Bold Peak, Mojesca, and Santiago. Those are only recent names to which magnificent earth beings do not respond. I see them standing high on the horizon. When I walk across Watson Bridge just to return some merchandise to Amazon, not the forest with mountains built of minerals and the mightiest of rivers, just the company, all is corporate here. I wish I could walk into the loving open pages of an independent bookstore like those closer to LA, a family-owned breakfast place like the one I was driven to once, a Mexican panaderia like the ones in Santa Ana, California, or on Calle 24 in San Francisco, an indie theater, a small local cafe with an open mic for poets, but none of that exists within walking distance of this place. This university, in what we call Irvine, where there are only brand names for the gentry, where there's only corporate this and corporate that. So that's what your strike is all about? My mirror asks. No, those things I cannot change. But my pots and pans and cowbell cry for other things. Release from rent, burden, and summer insecurity, improvement on childcare, and oh, the pay. Quote, the UCI libraries and the School of Social Sciences acknowledge our presence on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Yashimen and Tongva peoples, end quote, as rightfully stated on an October 10th email by the Dean of the School of Social Sciences and University librarian. Right on. So, what are the original names of those peaks which overlook the action that we take here and maybe get to hear my pots and pans? And the original names of all the local animals, the creeks, the estuary, the ocean in its might, the wind, the trees, they know what is right and what is wrong. The mirror on my wall can only wonder, while in facing my reflection, I can always reflect. But out to sea, 2,000 miles west, the Mauna Loa volcano speaks much louder than my cowbell and our drums and our chants. She may be uttering in her primordial voice the very names that are forgotten here. She sure is angry about the mercury, the lead, the plastic, and maybe everything to do with us humans. That much I've learned. My mirror changed his mind. His crystal eyes are saying now that we are right to strike. Well, thank you very much. Gracias.